Hi and welcome back to the channel once again, guys. So you saw me do a bit of housekeeping. It's very important to keep your workspace clean. You can see that I pretty much work in all sorts, so it is what it is. You got to work with what you've got. One day we'll have a nice shiny unit, don't worry, we will. But for now, I've got to deal with sweeping water, sweeping muck off the ground, and more importantly, every time I come out to this car, sweeping rust off the ground. So I always tidy up after I've worked. I've got a dog. Obviously, you've got to be mindful that your neighbours' cats might walk around, so you've got to keep things clean and tidy. And it just disintegrates this car. But that being said, we're now at the stage where the rust from the front's fallen away, it's cut away, moving forward. So we've got some steel that you just seen. We're going to start making some repair sections up today. I have just literally mocked a little piece up, and I'm going to show you guys the massive reason why I never throw any scrap bits of offcuts of new panels off. I never get rid of anything like that, and I'm going to show you why, because we did it so many times in the Clubman and it really worked well, and again it's going to work well with this, so watch out. But for now, I wanted to start a video with a really cool thing, really. So we have got a big box of bits here from Frost, our sponsors. So I wanted to take the time to go through it all with you, and why not? Let's just start it here. So from the top, you all know, if you watch the live stream, that we have another project on the way. Lockdown stopped us really getting anywhere near it. I haven't disclosed what it is yet. If you follow me on Instagram, I don't know how you've not managed to get it yet from things that I post and stuff like that. But yeah, it's coming. It's there. The deal's been done. That the handshake, obviously from afar, has been done. Yeah, it's something that I've wanted for a long time, and it's something that you guys have made possible. Obviously, when we get onto that series, we'll get onto that. But I've preempted it, and I love this stuff from Grey's Garage. It's so good. So that's the 3-in-1 ceramic wax. You've seen us use it on Edith, our truck. I use it every week on the Mazda. That thing beads up so nice. It's not cheap, this. I think it retails at £28 a bottle. Comes with a new nozzle every single time. So we've got that put aside. A bit preempted, but we've got that. So that's one thing sorted. Moving forward with the Mazda. Again, I'm now uncovering this in a bit of a weird way. Yeah, this is the MPI video, but moving forward with the Mazda, so we've got something for the other project, something for the Mazda. I'm going to redo the rocker cover. So we've got some wrinkle effect, high temperature paint. The rocker cover on the Mazda, if you've not seen the video, obviously go check it out, but I'm going to do a rocker cover gasket series video on that once it arrives. I'm waiting for it to come from Japan, because I don't want a cheap one, I want a genuine Mazda one, and they're not in stock in the UK anywhere. So both racing have hooked us up with that, and I just can't get hold of it yet. It's still stuck, borders and stuff like that with COVID. It's not good. So I'm in no mad rush. It's weeped ever since I've owned the car, so it's just going to continue to weep. I've got to top up the oil for now, but when I take it off, I've sort of thought, well, I'm waiting so long to do all this, let's spruce it up. So once again, Frost for that. Moving forward, a lot of you guys, and this does now apply to the MPI, these next few things, I've always said, why aren't you wearing a face mask? You're not doing, you're not wearing a mask or anything like that. That's because I hate wearing them, I'll be honest. Yeah, I don't like it. I know it's wrong. You're breathing in all sorts of particles into your lungs, and yeah, I guess I'm going to hit the brunt of that later in my life. But I know it's something I do need to sort, and it's you guys again. I feel like the caring side. You guys come out when you sort of say that, and I know you do nag me about the grinder guard, but that's another story. We'll work up to that. But I managed to get this. So it's used for racing, and it's used for workshop use, and it's also aimed for COVID-19. So it's going to be a good all-rounder. But it's a Laser Tools Racing Snood. So I'll put that on in this series, and you'll see me using that. But it basically goes around your neck. You just pull up over your face, and it's going to be more comfortable. So big thanks to Frost for that, because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have noticed that. So that's one thing there. And then moving forward, this is something I've been waiting to come into stock for so long, and we have got a door skin to do on the MPI. Now, we borrowed a tool off a good friend to do the Clubman. But it's one of them. I don't think I'm going to be doing a door skin anytime soon, but never say never. I didn't think I'd be doing this MPI. So it's worth doing at the end of the day. I borrowed a tool and I did the sidewalk. I did it with Paul at Mechanics. He's basically a person that showed me how to do door skins, so a big thanks to him. But I borrowed that tool, obviously I had the week in the workshop to do that before the channel was even a thing. So I borrowed that, and I borrowed again to the Clubman, and I didn't want to borrow again. I've had offers, and obviously with COVID-19 you can't be driving around borrowing tools of each other. It's just not the done thing to do. So we've got one, but we've waited a very long time for this. So here we go. So this is the proper frost restoration door skinning tool. I'm really happy with it. It's a really, really nice bit of kit, proper heavy weighted. It's got the big nylon bush there, but I have ordered, you've got the other size bushes as well that come on it, so for doing different doors. So that obviously spreads the load, and that's nylon so it doesn't damage. But yeah, so we've got that. And everyone loves a new tool day. Don't you all love a new tool day? I love new tool day. So that is that, and I think that is everything out of the box. Yes, it is. So a massive thanks to Frost once again for that. Like I say, I waited for a long time. It's not them, it's just in such high demand, that tool, and I really wanted to get it off them because it's the one to have at the end of the day. They did offer me a air version of it, which is obviously awesome, but I'm not in a fully fledged workshop. I don't want to kick up the compressor just to do little bits and pieces like that. And you can use it for other things like folding metal. So once I've got my little workbench set up and my vise on there, it's gonna sort itself out. But that is over 5 minutes of me talking about new parts and other projects. Well, let's get into the MPI. I have dug out the scrap steel. Yes, you're going to go, oh, it's a surface rust on it. It's a protective coating, it's like an oily coating on it. That literally just scotches off. It's only because it's a bare metal. And obviously everything gets painted before it goes on the car. But this is the bit I really wanted to get on with. Look at the angle on the bottom of that. You know where I'm going with this, don't you? Right, so if you haven't guessed it already, that nice curve there. So this is actually a bit off the Budget Clubman's floor pan. I didn't use it all. This is basically the inner sill version of it, a section of it. But if I can just get round there. Hello. It is nigh on perfect for that. Obviously, line it up at the bottom there. This needs to kick round. Cut all this away. But I'm going to make that. So stuff like that is why I keep hold of scrap metal. So in today's episode, I want to make the repair section up for that. So we've got that bit there. This is actually where that factory stops. That isn't me cutting that. That is where the panel stops. So I need to make a long run down here, all the way, and then with that section at the bottom. So I don't think I'm going to be able to do it in two, just because of the shape of that. But I have got other metal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the piece from here with that curve, kick it all the way out to the front, and then add the other piece in the top probably. Also we have that bit to deal with up here, so I can't move the scuttle at the moment, but there's a little hole up there which I'm just going to cut out, put a little plate in there, but then that bit done, then all this can be ground back and tidied up. Once we've done all the welding, we're going to clean out all the inner wings like I mentioned. We're going to check inside here, if it's okay, we just paint it in there and put it back. Obviously we've got the flitch panel repair, which will sort that issue out. And then we've got the same again at the front here. So obviously these are all factory holes, that's where the wiring loom all sits. MPI has so many holes in it, it's ridiculous for wiring and stuff. But same again, so I have actually got enough of that to be able to make this section here for this. Yeah, it's literally mirrored both sides now, hopefully to make my life a bit easier. The fact that I'm going to have to make it in two sections isn't such a bad thing, because you can actually see there's a big curve in the panel there. So this one section that's going to kick out here, I can just kind of lean it to then work with that curve. So it shouldn't be too bad, but let's get cracking with it. Let's get everything made up. I want to get that fitting, panels made for that, and then we can just have a welding sesh. Right, so you saw me start to cut out this, so that, with a little bit of finesse, you can see where I'm going with it, can't you? I've left loads hanging out the front. I always do, because if you actually look at the original panel, so is this the right side? So look at the right side. Yeah, so like that. It's actually got a fold on the front of it. So I've left enough to be able to create that fold. So that fold there is what sits against the new front panel. And obviously all of this attached to this piece of metal is the front panel, the original one. So that's going to go in there. I've got enough to fold that round. And then you can also see how much I've kind of got kicking out here. Again, I'm going to make it a bit too big, because when we mock up the front panel, which I will probably do, to be fair, once I've done this bit on both sides, because we can kind of see how much we need to take away. But I wasn't so lucky on the other side. So you got that there. It's too small. It is obviously more corroded this side. Again, you can see this is the side that came out here. I took more out because there was just more corrosion. You can see it's cracked. So not going to be as lucky on this side. But it's not an issue. At the end of the day, I can fold that flange. I was just trying to use the best of the bad situation. You've got loads of scraps still kicking around. What I'll do is I will make a straight sheet. I'm going to try and do this one in one piece then. Looking at it is I can make a one big L shape and then just kick the ends round. So it looks a bit crude really what I'm doing as well, because I'm cutting again with no guard. Okay, but I'm just cutting and banging around and using the concrete to straighten stuff out. You can do all this yourself at home. I'm not using any mad tools. I'm trying to prove that point. Yes, I'm getting a bench work set up and stuff like that, and that'll be fine. You know, it's going to be a lot nicer. But this is how I've always done it. I've only ever had a driveway. It's just proving you can do it at the end of the day. So we're going to, I think, make this in one big piece. And obviously we do have the panel for the other side. What we're going to do is lop that off and come all the way down here again and then save that. So you can see me, I was there, I was just trying to see if I could utilise that, which is not going to happen. Have you seen the lovely bronze yellow patch on my driveway? It's the only bit left now. Because obviously this is always sat here. So I was going to try and utilise that, but you've got this big flute in it there, and I don't like that. So I'm going to go to some scrap steel and try and see if I can find something else. Some of this is a bit too thick for when I made my trailer. Some of it could be savable. I'm thinking the 89 seat bench is going to come into play. Right guys, I realised you couldn't see a great deal, so my poor camera angle, because this thing was in the way. But that was that patch that I cut out. So there was that hole in the centre of it. It's obviously attached to the bulkhead running down there, but you can see it's just primer and factory. So a bit of a pain in the ass to get it out of there, but it's a hole nonetheless. And we can put a bit of metal in there. Again, it sits right at the top. And then remember, we have a scuttle closing panel that sits here, so you're probably not actually going to see it once it's done. But nonetheless, it was a hole, and actually looking at it now, there's your bulkhead, and that hole was dripping water into the cabin of the car. So it's yet another little fault with this cutter that is actually causing quite a big issue. So we'll just put a piece in there and grind it all back. Obviously your wing sits on here, your scuttle comes up to there, so you actually don't see it. It's just a shame, because that little hole is probably making the car leak as well. So, but that teamed with the fact that the bulkhead's all solid again now, and this sorted, hopefully means we're getting to the bottom of that. So just tied it up down there as well. I'm gonna go, next point of call is to find some metal out of my scrap bin, and we can get on making that. So that's the next job. Right, so you obviously saw I had a bit of an issue this side where that nice already sort of bent flanged piece of metal I had, yeah, it wasn't quite up to the standard I needed. It was good half an inch off. So you can't really, even if you had a bit of a gap, you can go and bridge that, but you can't. But I've just routed through my scrap steel,
and I have a piece I think I can work with, and I think I can make this whole piece out of one then. So I've just literally offered it up to the side here, and I've got enough height here to sort this area out, and enough length that end to come a bit further down and then be able to kick out and make the flange myself. Because obviously, if you remember, there's actually a flange on the front as well. I think this one piece of metal might just save the day. And the piece I cut out from the top here, I can put in that corner over there. So earmark this for the MPI now. What I'm going to do is make a cardboard template so I'm not all over the place. I've chosen frosted flakes. If you're into other things, that's entirely up to you. If you're more of a Rice Krispie person, you know, it's still a box. So drag that out the bin, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut it down to a bit more of a manageable size and use a marker pen. And the best way to do it really is to cut out what you need and basically run your finger over it, and it'll form a dirty mark on that, and that allows you to cut it out. And then you've got your, it's basically going to be sort of an L shape. I'm going to oversize it again, like I say, because I need to do the flanges front and back, and we'll work with that really. So it's really not too hard a process. It's just a bit of an intricate shape because you've got a flange there, you've got actual fold and kick in the panel there, a flange there. So it's going to take a bit of making. So let's just go on with it. So off camera, we've got this fitting, so it just needs a bit of a flat disc down the edge just to get rid of that sharp, horrible bird edge that you get. But I took a bit more out, and I'm glad I did, because there was a little bit of corrosion sat between the dash rail and there. But we'll clean that up, it's not an issue. But yeah, I'm happy with that, and I also lopped out that little bit at the bottom, so we've got a slightly bigger hole, but you know. Also, someone did comment, that isn't rust, that is wax in there. I've literally just dusted some primer inside it. It picks off with your hands, but I don't want to take the factory wax off because that's really what I saved this panel. So what I do with my own cars is I put the nozzle of the wax through there, and I actually inject them with wax once all painted and built back up. But so got my little line there, just going to clean that back, but we'll do that in the next episode. So I took quite a bit of it out that we didn't need, and like we did on the other side, we're just going to literally use the bit we need. No point taking out what's not needed. So again, it's just a Magnum panel, as you can vaguely tell there. That's what came with the car, and it is just a repair panel, so exactly what it is. That will go in there. Sorted the other side. That's made. That's there. That just needs again a bit of a flat disc back. I'm not going to go mad with that right now, but next episode, let's try and get everything to a point where, yeah, the welder's out in the next episode. That's my main aim, because that's a lot of welding. So you have to weld from the inside as well, down that panel. We'll get that in. That's a big thing. Let's get that fitted. And then we'll move on to these, and then we'll get a wire wheel around all of this. Get these inner wings looking good. Right guys, that is all we've got time for in this episode, unfortunately. But it's a big feat really. Everything's made now to go onto the car. Anyone that's ever done anything like this, it takes time making repair panels up, and I've basically got made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 if you include that. I've made 6, but you know, it does take time. I try to record as much as I can. It does get a little bit laborious. I don't want to do it. I didn't film me making the flitch panel fit, because you saw it on the other side. If you haven't already, go check that episode out. If you haven't checked that out, go check the 89 build out, and I did the same on both sides of that car. Actually, I think I only did one on camera because we sort of started the channel with the 89 and I started it already. So just go check both series out if you really want to see that done. But it really isn't hard. Just get a marker pen, score the inside, make it fit. You know, a lot of people just put the whole panel in. The 89 had the whole panel because it was that far gone. But this one, there is just absolutely no point in cutting out what is good of this car, because we have cut out a lot of it. So yeah, apologise in advance if you fall over. You are balancing on my stool, so if I shout timber, you know what's happening. So, but I thought I'd finish the video at the board. We need to really sort this board out really. So to-do list, it's got the budget club one on there, we've got all that on there, we don't need that, and I've just got like a little note here for the MPI, so it does need to get done. So let's just say goodbye to budget clubman once and for all. So let's get rid of all that, don't need any of this, and there we go. This is a sad moment, this is a sad moment. Right, so board is empty. Let's make a new list. So MPI. So let's leave that there. Right, where are we at now? So we can put the first thing to do, finish repairing, I call it firewall bulkhead, so finish repairing bulkhead. So let's do that, bulkhead. Repairs. Next is going to be inner wing repairs. Actually no, that's what we've just been doing today. We'll leave that, bulkhead repairs. Next will be scuttle. So scuttle, can't spell. Scuttle, and then front end. So very hard to write on a board that's moving, but they're the three main targets that we need to hit. Moving on from that, so like I mentioned, the car's here with me to do the front end, seals, door skin, but I think we're going to end up with a little bit more. I don't think the door's going to cause any more issues. I think the door is going to be a straightforward skin. It doesn't look too far gone. The actual corrosion's at the top, which, go figure. I think water's just been getting in through all these issues with the bulkhead. So door isn't going to be an issue, I don't think. So I don't think I'm going to do any extra on that, but I think the floors and seals are going to cause a few problems because they're so far gone up the front. I think we're going to do a lot of repairing. But it has all been supplied with the car, so we shouldn't have too many issues. My biggest thing is I want to get the front end in, bonnet closing nicely, and I'm going to fit the screen back in. Get the old rubber, like I said. But what I have sort of thought, and through doing a little bit of research, is I might actually fit the screen without the scuttle, just so I know, do I need to trim anything else? But again, we'll get to that when we get to that. So thank you for watching. I'm going to sign out here. I'm absolutely frozen, so thank you for tuning in. Post your comments below. I know what I'm doing looks a bit crude, you know, battering metal on the floor and cutting metal on the floor, but that's how I do it right now. There's no other way of me doing it. We are working on a bench that will sit under the board here, so that will come. I am going to plan on doing a bit of a garage video. A lot of people ask like the tools I use and bits and pieces like that, so I think we'll get onto that, maybe do a bit of a garage walk around, I guess, if you're interested. The tools I use and bits and pieces like that, it just covers it all in one video. Everything I've shown you at the beginning of the video from Frost, please go check them out. It's all available on there. Just obviously click and buy. It's all very easy. The door skinning tool, like I mentioned, I waited a little while for it. You know, it's no fault of Frost, but it just was out of stock all the time. It's that good. So I'm really excited, and we're going to use it on the MPI. That's why I've bought it, really, to do the MPI. And it's a tool that I've got, and it's not just going to be used for minis. If I buy another classic that needs a door skin, it's going to be used. So hence why I've got both pads. But yeah, I'm going to shut up. Go inside. Thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. People seem to really love this MPI, and I'm glad you do, because there's times that I look at it and I'm like, whoa, what have I got myself into? But I love a challenge at the end of the day. If life doesn't challenge you, there's absolutely no point in continuing, because it's really, you've got to set yourself goals, and that's what I do love about it. So if the front end fits and we've got nice shot lines and stuff like that, it's going to be a winner. I'll be really happy with that. But yeah, catch you next one, guys, when we will be welding. So let's get on with it. So best make sure I've got some gas. Let's do that. Let's go make sure I've got some gas first. But yeah, welding, we will be welding next. So I promise you that, guys. Need to get some more fresh steel in this. I'm very excited. Catch you next one, guys. Stay safe, and please look out for each other. Be respectful of everyone else at the moment, because it's troubled times. And I will catch you in the next one.